Okay, the next piece to go is this gas tank support bracket here. And for putting it back on, notice that it goes up from the connection to the frame when it's in the proper orientation. Now, those are 9/16 bolts. And I'm going to have to go around and show you how to get through to the other end of them at the top. What there is a big hole in the frame here, right above those bolts, and you can just see the 9/16 inch wrench that I have wedged in there, and it's on the bolt. And now I'm going to go from the bottom and try to hold the impact wrench in the camera and take that nut off. My wrench slipped off. But that's the idea. I'm going to have to put the camera down and put the wrench on and hold it so it doesn't spin. And there are 4 of them holding it on each side. So that's going to be the process for removing that. Okay, as you can see, I've put a offset box end wrench on the nut inside, on the inside one. And for the outside, I needed to go to a 3/8 inch socket because it had a thinner wall. And now I've got an adapter on there so that I can still use the impact wrench on it. So that's going to be the way to get it off, I think. A couple more notes on this fuel tank bracket. There are 2 flanges on it. The small flange goes to the rear. The large flange goes to the front of the car. Now, these came out pretty easy, but when I took them out, the bolt was stuck in the frame. And all it took was a couple taps with my rubber-coated dead blow hammer and just popped them up. Okay. When they came off, the nuts stayed in the socket. So what I did is I threaded one of the bolts into the top nut, and you can just pull it out. Hopefully the second one will be within reach now to do the same thing. If not, we'll just take it and try to bang it, get it closer. And if that doesn't work, then probably it is not close enough to grab with that. So plan B, and I'm holding the camera again, so I'm having trouble with it, is to take the socket off of the impact wrench, turn it upside down, bang it on there, see if we can get it closer to the front so we can grab it with that bolt and pull it out. If not, we'll put the socket in the vise and tap it out from the back with a long, thin screwdriver. Okay, we got it closer to the front. So now, just take the bolt, catch the thread with the bolt, yank it out. Okay, this is what the bolts for the gas tank support bracket look like. The bolt goes down through the frame, so there's nothing on it on the inside of the frame. Then the bracket goes on, and then you have a flat washer, a lock washer, and the nut on the bottom of the frame. Or actually, it's the bottom of the bracket at that point. Now, one of the things I learned after I took this off, well, a couple things. Number one, what I thought was a felt paper is actually metal here. It's just covered with some undercoating, so it's not a piece of felt paper. And on the other side, this is where the thing is really interesting. The outward hole is a slot. So what that means is you can start the bolt in the frame, and then just slip this in on the driver's side and go to the passenger side and put your bolt and nut, and you don't have to hold the whole thing and try to get a bolt and nut and everything on. I'm sure it's much easier to do it that way, and that's why they did it. And taking it off as well, what I would do is loosen the driver's side. The outboard bolt just needs to be loose. The inboard bolt comes out. Then come to the passenger side, take off both bolts, and the bracket will then drop down, and you can just pull it out because you've loosened the bolt on the driver's side. So it's supported on the driver's side for you while you're taking the other bolts off, and that makes it a little bit easier. Okay, there's the fuel tank support bracket ready for storage. You notice I've put the nuts and bolts back in it so I don't have to wonder where they came from. I'll put that on the shelf. Worth commenting on here is this bolt on the driver's side was hard to get. I couldn't get it off because it would tighten up on me even with the impact wrench, and the wrench that I had holding it on the inside would slip off. So I hit it with some blaster, and then I did the loose until it got tight, and then tighten it, then loosen it, then tighten it, then loosen it, then tighten it, even with the impact wrench to get it off, because this really wasn't a good candidate for heat, because you had to kind of feel the back of the bolt with your finger, and you wouldn't be able to do that if you put heat on it.